Jessica Yarrow. The drums pounded, the distant echoes of feet striking the ground in unison equally roared into the dusk air. The crackling of the large fire that was created was scarcely heard above the stomping, chanting, and the intense rhythms of the handmade drums. The children watched in awe of their elders, experienced in traditional dance and song. The sight of the celebration is nearly as intense as the sounds and alluring smells from the various meats and bread being cooked, waving through the air. It is a night of celebration. Fall and winter are approaching, signaling an impending finish of the hard work of farming season. As the summer wind winds down and the nights become cooler, it becomes storytelling season. Storytelling is not only for teaching, but entertainment and reward for the excellent work that the community has put forth during the balmy summers. The stories always hold significance and deeper meaning, either about interactions with family and community, or about the wonder and amazement of Earth's capabilities. The celebration that occurred lasts for hours and contained food, song, dance, and storytelling by a respected and talented elder. The stories are told near the end of the evening, often around the fire because the air has chilled without the warmth of the sun. When the storytelling, signaled by a single beating drum, is about to begin, the children, losing stamina from the rigorous dances, are all eager to take a seat on handmade pillows in front of the storyteller's tree trunk perch. The small toddlers sit at the front of the crowd, tilting their tiny heads upwards to look up at the majestic storyteller sitting there, smoking a birch bark pipe filled with natural tobacco. A successful yearly crop and one of the great value in trade, the young children seat themselves behind the toddlers, some with cooing siblings on their laps. The taller children and adolescents fill out the back rows, respecting not to block the view of the storyteller. It is a knowing attribute of the stories that are told to be visual and expressive. The body movements contributing as much to the story as the words. As the rest of the crowd assembles, the boisterous chaos has dulled to a low murmur with the occasional excitable giggle or shriek from a child. A wave of silence washes over the crowd as the storyteller holds up her hands to attract everyone's attention. She's an older woman, dressed in a deerskin outfit, complete with detailed moccasins. She has dark black hair with a few random wisps of silver. Already the crowd can see she looks very wise. She has the most beautiful chocolate brown eyes that capture the attention of everyone she makes eye contact with. A few observant members of the crowd notice she is delicately holding a large eagle feather. She lifts the feather to the sky and smiles, reflecting on the beauty and endless stories that are possible from such a seemingly simple but in fact complex object. She twirls the stem between her thumb and forefinger, still admiring the strength and grace of this glorious eagle's feather. She adjusts her gaze to the intently quiet audience who are watching this magnificent woman, taking so much pleasure from observing the natural wonder. Men, women, fellow elders, children, she begins, gesturing her graceful hand towards the crowd, We are all unique, special, and hold talents that contribute to who we are. We all, however, share a common bond. Together, you create a community, a loving place of being that creates, recognizes, and supports each individual's creativity and strength. It was at this point the storyteller lifts a feather back into the air and states, in many ways, the community is like this feather. The crowd exchanges questioning glances as they ponder. Some aloud how a small and delicate feather could possibly be compared to a large and strongly bonded community. Everyone felt this community was one of the strongest and hardest working in the area. The storyteller held her hands in the air to signal silence once again so she can continue telling the story. Immediately, the crowd hushed, everyone intrigued with curiosity by this woman and the wisdom in her story. A feather is like a community in many ways, in strength, purpose, function, and structure, she continues, repeating her opening idea. Each element of a feather is similar and can be related to a community and the ways in which that community functions. The crowd is captivated at the introduction and natural ability of the storyteller to hold the focus of such a large gathering of people. Even the small children stayed completely focused on her. Storytelling has been passed down through her family, and it is evident she has had years of practice and experience watching other members of her family, learning their stories and applying her own flair. The members of the community standing now settled into a more comfortable and traditional seated position, sitting atop their folded legs. The stem, she continues, pausing dramatically to run her fingers over the center of the feather, is the central and seemingly most important part of a feather. The stem in your community would be the chief. The duty of the chief is to create order, to support each individual in their talents and life calling. The chief essentially is the central element holding everyone in the community together for a common goal. Each hair of the feather represents a person in the community. Although the stem and the chief are both of great importance, both rely on the numerous hairs and members of their tribe to function. Without the strands of a feather, the stem would be just a branch, just as a chief without a tribe would feel not feel a greater sense of purpose. Likewise, assortments of hairs need a stem to hold them together, guide them through the air, just as a chief is needed to guide everyone in the community on a productive and cooperative path. Neither is more or less important without one another. The purpose of the other could not and would not be fulfilled. It is possible to succeed as individuals, but working together produces a greater reward for all involved.